Well, hiya, BookTube. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. I wanted to come to you with a book haul. I recently went on spring break and got to go down to Texas. And while I was down there, I was able to pick up some books and some other stuff. And I wanted to show you what I got. So I hadn't done a book haul in a couple weeks just because I had a little 11, 12 day absence from BookTube. Not because I didn't want to make a video, just because we were on vacation and I just took time off. So apologize about that, but then again, I'm not sorry because, everybody needs a vacation every once in a while. So anyway, enough said. Let me show you the stuff that I picked up. Okay, so while I was down actually, let's start with this. Right before I left, when I got back, when I got back from vacation, I found in the mail, in our big old stack of, week-long stack of bills that, comes in every day like everybody else in the nation, I had my newest Smithsonian magazine come in. And so the headliner on the Smithsonian for this month, for March of 2022, is "She Ended a Deadly Plague. The unsung hero Pearl Kendrick led the brilliant effort against the whooping cough." And I am not familiar with her, so this will be good. I'm going to learn something here because, like I said, I'm not familiar with her name. It also has a couple of articles: Archaeology at the Ancient City of Troy. That'll be interesting. In Search of the Ultimate Wild Fig, and A Journey to a Place Marked by Slavery. So this edition is going to be a good one, I think. I'm going to learn something. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And let's see here. All right, so then we got down to Texas. And one of the things that we did while we were on vacation is we went on, I think it was Saturday when we got down there, we went to, it was Sunday. It was on Sunday. We went to Brownsville to the flea market. And they have this ginormous flea market. It took a good chunk of the day to get through it. And we were just looking at, people's stuff that they were selling. There was all kinds of odds and ends, anything from hats and shoes to kitchen equipment to toys to food to, I know my daughter, she picked up, she's got some shoes like Crocs in their shoes, and you know how they have those little holes in them. She got these little I guess they're not jewelry, but little deals that you can pop into the holes on the Crocs, and a couple of them glow in the dark. And so that was her treat at the flea market. She bought those. I, of course, went to the toys because I like toys. I only saw one vendor with books, and they wanted way too much money for what they had. Matter of fact, she didn't have a set price on stuff, and I pulled up this book on baseball. It was like a coffee table sized book, and it was like baseball of the 1950s. And I'm expecting like maybe $3 or $4 for the book, and I probably would have bought it for that. But I asked her, how much are your prices on book? Well, I don't know. I have to see the book. And then she grabs a book, kind of just looks it over. I don't think she had a clue what she was looking at. And she said, $8. I said, thank you, but no thank you. And put it down. Maybe not the most polite thing, but I was like, you're not pulling the wool over my eyes. Not worth that. But I did find some Hot Wheels vendors, which if you've ever been to a flea market or to any of the antiques places, they get these, Hot Wheels that you buy for 96 cents at Walmart or Target, maybe $1. And they buy up bulk amounts of them, and then they mark them up to $2, $3, $4. And I mean, I'm not dumb. I can go to Walmart and get them for cheap. But I did see a vendor who was selling, a couple different vendors who had a table full of Hot Wheels for $1. And I figured that's basically the same thing I'm paying at Walmart. So I picked up a few of them that I liked. So wanted to show you those real fast. So I got a 1971 Dodge Charger for my collection. Thought that was pretty cool. And if you don't follow the channel, or if you're new to the channel, I do like muscle cars, and so I tend to pick those up with my Hot Wheel collection. So here's a 68 Shelby GT500. That was pretty sweet. Got a nice little purple color to it. Got the flames on the side. Both those cars did, actually. Here's an AMC Rebel machine. Thought that was kind of cool looking. I got a, let's see here. Here's a 56 Chevy Bel Air gasser. So it's all souped up. That was kind of cool. And the last one that I picked up was a, let's see, a 1956 Aston Martin DBR 1. And there's that one. Sorry about that glare. But that was a pretty sweet car. So I thought those were 5 pretty good pickups at the flea market for only $1 each. I thought I did pretty decent on that. So it was on that same day, actually, on the way back to my father-in-law's house, we stopped by the Palo Alto battlefield. There's a national battlefield memorial there. Like, they've got the visitor center, and then they got the battlefield itself, and you can walk out there, and they've got cannon out on the battlefield that you can look at. They have the American and Mexican lines all lined up. So it's the first battle of the Mexican War, and we're going to be getting to that pretty soon in class, and so I was interested, and so we went out there, and I didn't get to walk the battlefield the first day. I actually went back a couple days later to walk the battlefield, but we went through the visitor center, and of course, we picked up maps and some other literature about the battlefield, things that only a history teacher is going to be interested in. Picked that up. But I also picked up a couple of books. This first one, first of all, I asked the historian that works there. I can't think of what their exact title is. But I asked him, when I was in the gift shop, what book would you recommend? And he had actually read several of the books, and we had a really good conversation about the battle and what it meant to the United States and Mexico, as far as land exchanges, and then how it played into how the Mexican Cession played into the slavery issue in the United States, which is what I'm going to get into pretty soon in my classroom. So we had a good discussion on that. So I asked him, what's the best book? And he recommended a couple of them. And of course, you guys know me, I'm a cheapskate. So I started looking at prices on books. And the one that he recommended that he thought was the best was actually one of the more expensive ones. So I felt bad when I didn't buy it. But then again, like I said, I'm a cheapskate, so I didn't think too long about it. But he did recommend, he said, here is a really good overview. And I mean, it's just a little thin thing, just a few pages long, but it was only $1. And it's Palo Alto Battlefield National Historic Site. And so I picked that up for $1. You can't go wrong for only $1. And it's got really good photography and maps and stuff like that in it. So that's a good, just overview of the battle. We also got to listen to a video there in the visitor center that told about the Mexican War overall and specifically Palo Alto. And it was really good. Even my wife enjoyed that, and she's not necessarily a history person, but she enjoyed it and said it gave her, a whole lot more just knowledge about what went on at that battlefield, gave it a lot more importance. Now, the big book that I did buy, and like I said, paid $20 for it, paid full price for it, but I was okay with that because I was familiar with the author, and it's The Class of 1846, From West Point to Appomattox, Stonewall Jackson, George McClellan, and Their Brothers by John C. Wall. I love John C. Wall's writing, I've read a few of his other books, and I've enjoyed all of them, so I figured I'll probably enjoy this. And so it will give me a taste of, the Mexican War, when these guys all went to fight in the Mexican War, and then how it carried forward into the Civil War. So this book will be excellent for my classroom studies that I love to do. And it's a good-sized book. It's, 635 pages. So it's a pretty good-sized book. It's got nice black and white pictures as you go through. It's got a few of those. I'm just looking forward to this. I think that was a pretty good find. Let's see. And then on the way home, we stopped. So we took one day to go down to Texas, and that was like a 21-hour drive. You know, once you get from Iowa to southern Texas, and then you got my 18-year-old daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, my wife. My 4-year-old's got to stop about every 2.5 hours to pee. And so that 18-hour drive, 18 and a half, something like that, stretched into a 21-hour drive because of those few stops. Now, on the way down, when we got there at like 1:30 in the morning, we were pretty tired, and maybe not even the safest driving when we got down there because we were that tired. So on the way back, we decided to make it a 2-day trip and just enjoy the trip. And so on the way back, we stopped in Waco, Texas at, if you're familiar with HGTV and the show, oh no, I went blank. Fixer Upper, sorry. The show Fixer Upper, Chip and Joanna Gaines, they are the ones that are flipping houses on there, and they opened up their own store called Magnolia. In downtown Waco, and they bought these 2 huge silos that sit right by I-35, and they bought those 2 silos, they fixed them up, and then they built some shops all around that area. And they have basically been revitalizing Waco, and it's pretty fabulous what they've done. And so we've been interested in it. We have never stopped there, and it had been 7 years since we'd been to Texas that last time. And so we wanted to stop, and we did, and we went through those shops and enjoyed a couple hours of walking around. And they've got kids stuff there. They've got different things different places like a leather shop. They got a stationery shop. They got like a bath and body type of shop in there. They've got all kinds of little shops. And so we walked through there and just, enjoyed the afternoon, couple hours, had lunch and that kind of stuff, and then finished off the drive. So on the second day, long story short here, on the second day driving back, we were getting really close to home. It was probably about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we were in St. Joe, and almost home, pretty close to home, about an hour and 15 minutes away from home. And we had to stop and get a couple of things because we knew the refrigerator was empty. My 4-year-old's going to start soccer tomorrow, and so we had to get some cleats and that kind of stuff. And so we stopped at Books Revisited, one of my favorite bookshops, and I found 3 new books. You can't get out of there without new books. And I say new, used books. And so I wanted to share those with you. So the first one that I picked up was Lincoln, a novel by Gore Vidal. And this is a Ballantine Books from New York, and it's a 1984 book. I have never read this. I am a huge Lincoln fan, so I figured I can't go wrong with it. It says, in this profoundly moving work of epic proportion and intense human sympathy, Abraham Lincoln is observed by his loved ones, his rivals, and his future assassins, seen by his wife Mary, who adores him even as she is going mad, by the Machiavellian Secretary of State Seward, who begins by scorning Lincoln and ends by worshiping him, by Lincoln's rival, Salmon P. Chase, and his beautiful daughter, Kate, by David Harold, the druggist clerks at the center of the plot that will eventually take Lincoln's life, and by the 23-year-old presidential secretary, John Hay, who comes to know Lincoln intimately during his 4 years in the White House. Lincoln emerges as a complex and towering figure who presided over some of the most divisive and dangerous years in American history. In a brilliantly realized, vividly imagined work of fiction, Gore Vidal gives us a portrait of America's greatest president that is at once intimate and public, stark and complex, and that will become, for future generations, the living Lincoln, the definitive Lincoln. So pretty excited about that. That'll be good. It's a bigger book, 657? Well, there is an afterword, but about 657 pages. So excited about that. I saw this book, and it really goes with my last 6 months of reading. It'll go really well to supplement what I've been reading. It is The Essence of Liberty, Free Black Women During the Slave Era. This is by Wilma King, and I am not familiar with her, but I'm pretty excited about that. It is, let's see, from the University of Missouri Press out of Columbia, and it is a 2006 book, so it's a newer book. It says, before 1865, slavery and freedom coexisted tenuously in America in an environment that made it possible not only for enslaved women to become free, but also for emancipated women to suddenly lose their independence. Wilma King now examines a wide-ranging body of literature to show that even in the face of economic deprivation and draconian legislation, many free black women were able to maintain some form of autonomy and lead meaningful lives. The Essence of Liberty blends social and political economic history to analyze black women's experience in both the North and the South from the colonial period through emancipation. Focusing on class and familial relationships, King examines the myriad of sources of freedom for black women to show the many factors that, along with their time spent in slavery before emancipation, shaped the meaning of freedom. Her book also raises questions about whether free women were bound to or liberated from gender conventions of their day. Drawing on a wealth of untapped primary sources, not only legal documents and newspapers, but also the diaries, letters, and autobiographical writings of free women, King opens a new window on the world of black women. She examines how they became free, educated themselves, found jobs, maintained self-esteem, developed social consciousness, even participating in the abolitionist movement. She considers the stance of Southern free women toward their enslaved contemporaries and the interactions between previously free and newly freed women after slavery ended. She also looks closely at women's spirituality, disclosing the dilemma some women faced when they took a stand against men, even black men, in order to follow their spiritual callings. Throughout the engaging history, King underscores the pernicious constraints that racism placed on the lives of free blacks in spite of the fact that they were not enslaved. The Essence of Liberty shows the importance of studying these women on their own terms, revealing that the essence of freedom is more complex than the mere absence of shackles. So very interested to see that side of the story. I think this will be a good supplemental read to what I have been reading, because we've been reading about Frederick Douglass's wife, Anna Douglass. We've read about the Hemings family, the Elizabeth Hemings and Sally Hemings. I've just read about various African-American women that were enslaved, and now it will be kind of neat to see the other side of the story. And of course, Anna Douglass was free. I don't want to put her in the enslaved category. She was free, but this will just be adding to all of what I've been reading for the last 6 months. And then the last one, and I won't read the cover to you because I think it'll be pretty self-explanatory, but it's by Max Hastings, the World War II guru. It's Overlord, D-Day, June 6, 1944. And of course, it's got the iconic photo right there on the front. I am due to read Max Hastings in a buddy read here soon on his book on the beginnings of World War I. So I'm excited about that. Never read him before, but this will also be another edition of Max Hastings stuff. And there's the author right there. This is, look at the end pages. Aren't those cool? Yeah, you got the maps of northern France, the Normandy coast. It's from Simon & Schuster out of New York, and it is 1984. So it's got a little bit of age to it, but he's a good writer. So, at least that's what I've been told. So I will find out. Well, BookTube, that is the new stuff that has been added to the Ruttenberg Library. I know that right now I need to quit getting new stuff. At least that's what my wife tells me. I have got a table full of books here that I have got to get put away. My 4-year-old's about ready to turn 5 here on Sunday. And so I got to get things cleaned up because our house is going to get invaded by little girls screaming and laughing. So I got to get my books put away. But, it's always good to add a few more. I don't think that ever hurt anybody, right? So I hope you're having a good reading week, and thank you for watching. And till next time, happy reading.